Hi everyone. So today we are trying to pull an alternator out of a 2005 Dodge Caravan. It is a 2.4 liter engine. For safety concerns, we're always going to go ahead and disconnect the battery before working with electronics. So we're trying to get to this bad boy here today. Sorry, it's a little bit dark. Yeah, it's down there. But yeah, just for purposes, we're just going to go ahead and temporarily disconnect the bolts and the screws from the car here real quick, so that way we can work on this. Otherwise you start snagging on this a lot, and we'll go through the rest of disconnecting this bad boy so you know how. Alright, now that I've gotten the wheel off of it, we're going to be attacking this little panel right over here. There should just be a couple of rivets that you should be able to just pop off no problem and pop back on. Should gain you access to the alternator that's hiding right in there. Actually, the serpentine belt, I should say. If I can get this focus. So you see the serpentine belt's right above the oil filter, which is right in there. And then we'll go ahead and get that disconnected and use our cheater bar here. So once you're able to get this off, there's going to be a small slot in here, which I will show you in a second. It's not all the way up in there, it's just right in here. There's going to be a little slot where you can go ahead and get this in here, but I don't have this positioned correctly. But you can see that this does move, and it does go ahead and loosen that belt off, and then you'll be able to go ahead and pull it off. So it's just right in there. Sorry, it's blurry. You see that little slot, there's going to be a circle, then your square, and then it's going to look like a cup almost, but right in the middle is where you'll put your cheater bar. Alright, so once you've got the cheater bar off, or the serpentine belt off, there's going to be these two little plugs. One you should be able to just go ahead and unscrew one. It's got like a round like cap. I'll show it here on the other alternator in a second. And then you've got another one that's got a little red switch in there. You should be able to just go ahead and pop that out. Usually with the screwdriver, you'll just pull this up. Sorry, it's so blurry. You'll just take this and you'll pull it straight up, and then that should go ahead and disengage it, so you can just go ahead and just pull it out. So we're looking at it right over here. So it's got a little screw on the inside that you'll just need to go ahead and get that pulled off, and then you should be able to just pull it off no problem. And this with the other one I just mentioned, there's going to be that connector that you're just going to go ahead and pop it, and you should be able to go ahead and pull that off. When you are taking off these bolts, if you want to, you could go ahead and take off this radiator hose. It is, at least on mine, it is very snug. I've been able to work around it so far just by using a 13mm socket wrench with an extender on it. So it has made it a little bit easier, but it is kind of slow going just to be able to get those two, but it is possible. Mine were on there tight enough that I did have to use my cheater bar. Even with the cheater bar, it wasn't that hard. It was just more of an awkward positioning because of the hoses that are covering right over it. Well, now that you've gotten your alternator off, you probably now have a love-hate relationship with your Caravan. I was finally able to go ahead and get my, let's see if we can get some light down there, my little connector off. So yeah, as I mentioned before, you just go ahead and pull that up. Now before you do go ahead and try tugging on it and try and pull it off and everything else, there is a little part on here, you might not be able to see it, but this right here, sorry for how blurry it is, you have to push down on it. If you push forward, it should make it a little easier for you to pull back, and then the connector comes off. So now we're going to go ahead and go onto this. Remember, there is a nut that is inside there that you are going to have to disconnect or go ahead and undo before this will come off. So now that I've been able to go ahead and get to it, I'm going to be using a 13mm ratchet or socket, and I'm going to use an extender on there. It just gives you a little bit more space. Once I do get it off, I am going to go ahead and try to pull it out down there, since there's a lot more space to work with. Now before you do forget, make sure that you do hold onto your bolts. A good thing to try to do as a habit is just put it into the part where you're supposed to put it. Make sure that you have it and don't lose it. And we'll go ahead and get this bad boy off. So halfway through the process, I actually ended up changing my mind. I did not want to go through the bottom. It is just way too hard to get through there. And so, oh goodness. Finally got that thing out. Now we're going to go ahead and get that replaced and just do it backwards. This should be fun. And here we are at the last little leg of the race. I officially now have 2 of my bolts in. I now have the connectors now in place. I just need to get the last little bolt inside there and then get the serpentine belts on. And then probably once you get all of that on and you're all done with this, you're probably going to still be hating this dang beast for the next week or so. But once you finally realize that it's no longer giving you any kind of issues, you're going to probably appreciate it bringing your family to and from where they need to be. And then you'll probably forget about this until you have to replace another alternator here in the future. But that is all about it. Just remember to go ahead and use your serpentine belt and put it back in there, and use your cheater bar to go ahead and pull back on that tensioner, put your tire back on and all that. Once you're all done, yeah, then go ahead and put your battery back on. But otherwise, that is all it is. It only takes about 2 or 3 hours to go ahead and get all of that in there. For me, the part itself cost me about $150 or so, and then with the cord charge and an extra $40 coming up to be probably $200 after tax. But hey, certainly beats going to the mechanic and having to pay them, I don't know, $400. It's about an extra $200 worth of work that you would have to do at work. So I guess the 2 to 4 hours that you vigorously put into this thing is well worth it in the end. And now my wife will be happy now that I'm getting this thing done. So thanks for watching this. Enjoy your Caravan.